the Windows,
Yeah.
the operating system on the machine is not, you can't find what to boot it from.
I wondered about that when you made a new machine.
Yeah,
Because usually you have to install Windows. Now you can import from an existing.
but shouldn't it be on that hard drive?
It should be on the hard drive. Yeah, I'm not sure.
How that all works, maybe.
Yeah, you guys are probably almost as knowledgeable as me on these virtual machines in the Hyper.
Wait. Where's my server?
Oh, yeah, this person can.
What? Dude, I'm gonna punch somebody in the face, and I'm not a violent person.
Your server isn't there?
Oh my God, this.
Oh, well, just type it in. Just say localhost. Or not localhost, ITC, whatever you name it.
Yeah, that's
It was 226 something.
Yours was ITC226 SQL.
Was it?
Or server. It wasn't SQL server.
I'll find it. Here we go.
Okay.
We will survive this day.
I hope so.
This is great.
At least it's it's not like 98 degrees anymore. Oh yeah, they're all here.
Yeah, I assume that they would be there. It's just, and then sometimes that happens. It just doesn't come up. I'm going to Canvas first. There are a couple of changes, although we could do them easily enough without the Canvas. But I posted them. So in the ITC224, there is one of the announcements. Is it the no title? Oh, adjustment to MetroDW. And what I wanted to do, remember when we were making the tables, I said I might want to come back to that DIM business schedule one. I want to add the employee key, the bus route key, the bus key, and the date.
Oh, so copy.
So just copy this. I mean, these are pretty easy. We're just adding these fields. We'll go into the into SQL Server, Management Studio, new thing, MetroDW. So this is in an announcement in Canvas. If you want to type them in, they're not that arduous to type.
Okay.
Poor David. Actually, next fall quarter, which won't matter for most of you, I don't think, but they're probably not going to use Hyper-V again because it's incompatible with Android Studio. So they're probably going to do dual boot these things. So instead of going into Android, well, for the emulator.
Oh.
What's this one?
At home, I avoid that by just always using my phone. But
Did you?
the emulator won't run if there's any other virtualization software. So what we're doing, we're adding these 4 columns to our DW database. Make sure you're not in master. Make sure you're in Metro Alt DW. Then you can execute these, and it should add those 4 columns to the Metro DW, to the DIM bus schedule assignment table. I found out as I was building the cube I needed those, so. I'll give it one more second and we'll get into it. If you want, the next thing we're going to do, and this part we could do and then wait just a second, I guess, is open up the data, SQL Server data tools, which is the Visual Studio, and we do want to run it as administrator. You didn't run it as administrator?
I just clicked real fast without being.
I do not. To me, it's absurd that you have to run this thing as administrator to do these.
Well, I mean, I get it, but we already have admin privileges on the machine that you just read.
Right, except that Windows from like 7 on, if you have, even if you're admin, it doesn't run you as admin. You have to kind of shell to admin.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's safer. I get it, but
The idea is you don't want a process to be able to run in the background without you giving permission. So that cuts down on the virus a little bit.
well, yeah. But when you consider how many people are still on XP and
Yeah, well, XP is, yeah, that's,
the fact that there's people on IE6 scares me. Though I love that there's going to be no more support as of January of next year for Internet
Yeah.
Explorer 8.
sure.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, but why does the
Who has one? This is first.
Maybe you did.
Because I did too. Because you mentioned it.
Well, I said that we might want these things.
And then-
Maybe you already added them. Do you have round key in there? Yes, you have bus round key in there. You have bus key in there, you do have bus key in there. You have,
Yeah.
so why do you have all of those? You anticipated.
Way to read minds.
If you already have the columns, that's fine.
I don't know why I would have done that.
You know, pat yourself on the back. Give yourself credit.
So I'm gonna start a new project and it'll be an SSIS project. So, systems,
Somebody touches you, but machine.
Well, yeah.
integration services.
No, seriously.
And I think the top one,
Oh, yeah. The wizard or the regular?
we want the regular. Is the top one the wizard?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm gonna call it, SSIS Metro Alt DW.
Okay, good. I'm saying that. That's all.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So you're gonna be doing lots of fast forwarding because I've been delaying through here. Once we get going, we can build this thing. I've built it many times, so it should go fairly smoothly. And I figured out what I was doing wrong, so the cube was working better. So we're at least that far along. So one of the things I'm going to do is kill this little getting started dialog box. So do you guys, I think we talked about it briefly, but do you remember the things that we were going to have to do in this? Nope.
Oh, as far as the controls,
Yeah.
well, we have to have a source.
Before we do the source, I mean, basically, there's a couple of things that we need to do. First of those is we need to drop all the constraints. Okay. So the dropping the constraints is so that before we fill it up, it'll just make it so you don't have to worry about the order. You can handle anything that doesn't fit into the constraints of that. So first we drop all the constraints. 2, we truncate, which is to say we delete all the data. So we truncate all tables. And we do that because you don't want to duplicate data. You want to bring in every time you load it, you bring in the fresh load of what the current data is. Okay, and then this part is where you do the normal data flows to basically put in tables. I know I'm writing over the green. But then there's two of these. So let's do 3.1 and 3.2 to take special care. One is the date dim, and the other is the fact. The fact table actually is a hard thing to calculate. And what I'm going to do for the date table and the fact tables, I'm going to create a view in MetroAlt. It's just easier. It is possible to do what you need to do in the SSIS, but it's easier to write a view. Also for the dim date, we're going to have to write a function. And that function will translate the date into an integer. And then after we populate everything, we need to add it in the constraints, add back the constraints. So that's what we need to do in this SSIS. And the point of doing it here is that this is something you'd be doing over and over again. Every time you want to update your data warehouse, you would run this package. Once you've created the package, you should be able to run it without thinking about it, right? Just however often you want to update your data in the data warehouse. Does that make sense as a plan? Here's another thing I would do before you do something like this. I would think it through. Get a plan, because it's really hard to figure out in process. For instance, if you don't drop all the constraints, you might find that you have all sorts of problems filling the tables because foreign key conflicts and things like that. It's possible to do it, but so I want the tool, I guess it's the SSI toolbars. Okay. And the first one we're going to do is one we haven't done before. We're going to do an execute SQL task. So I am going to drag that onto the control flow. And if you want, you can name it. It's not a bad idea, again, for later readability. I'm going to name it drop constraints. I'm going to double click it, which always gives you the properties. So one of the things that we need is we need a connection, and then we need the SQL statement. So first we'll do the connection. Are you guys with me? If I go too fast, stop me. So I don't have a connection showing, so I'll do a new connection. And I have community assist, but that's not the one I want. So I'm going to do new. You might have, if you have one to MetroAlt, except we actually want this one to be to MetroAlt DW, so you probably don't have that. And we want to enter the database name, not MetroAlt. This one's MetroAlt DW, I missed. Okay, so we can do OK here. All right, so I'll do it again. I'll cancel. So I did new connection. And then I did MetroAlt DW, which actually wasn't there, so I had to go another step. If you have MetroAlt, you shouldn't. So do new.
Go down the server.
And then
Server.
your server name, which might be in the list, or it might just time out. It's hard to say.
Our server's not coming up.
I think last time this one I sent to separate.
You're local host, right?
Then I can look up.
And once you have the Metro, then you can do okay. So we want the Metro Alt DW. For the SQL statement, this is one of those things where there's little 3 dots. If you open that, it gives you a place where you can write your SQL statement, or you can do what I prefer to do, which is go to your management studio and write it and then copy and paste it in. What we need to do, we need to drop all the foreign keys first. So I have a script of these somewhere, but let's do, if you have the original script, you could just go where do all the creates and just reverse them. But you have to do alter table, and let me open up DW. So we've got, let's do the fact bus schedule first because it has all the foreign keys. And fact bus schedule. Yeah, so we're going to alter table fact bus schedule, and we're going to drop, and we could drop the primary key here too, but drop constraint. So I'll drop its primary key. And then what I'm going to do is copy this. And basically just change the constraint for each one. So I'm just going to drag in all of the.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting them from the keys, right? Okay, I'll hold in a sec. I'm just dragging in the foreign keys. If you want, you could type them in, and I'll go over these before. These are all for the fact table, because it has all the foreign keys.
It's hard to read.
Well, I'm just pasting.
I
right?
know. You can't see it.
All right, I'll bring it
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
I know.
So this is all the foreign keys and one primary key. So
Where does it stop? Oh, it was like a full screen. Can you zoom out a little?
I don't know how to zoom out with this. I could, yeah.
That's the first one, number 10, right? Dim bus schedule.
13. So from here, let me go up to get it to the top at least.
I don't know where you're pulling it. I see it.
So it's under
Fact
Fact
bus
table.
schedule. Yeah.
and then keys.
These?
No, down under keys. There's
Oh,
a folder.
That's where I'm like, where are you getting
I created this one already without letting know the YouTube, but I can see.
So why is it changing?
So we've added the other one. Right now we're dropping it. So you don't have
Oh,
that
I think I
DW?
made them all.
All right, refresh it.
So do I have to learn it for till 11 first?
I have
So do I have to learn this one first?
Well, do you have a Metro? Yeah, run those first.
So, oh, I have to do the user or no?
Use Metro Alt. Not,
DW.
not DW.
Okay. And then just run it.
And then just run those three. So what we've done is we've added some columns to the dim bus schedule. And then what we're doing is we're dropping all the constraints. Now we'll add them all back in.
Oh, well.
at the end.
Core names of each day must be named.
So far, I've only dropped the foreign keys. I also want to drop all the primary keys.
Okay, we don't like this. It's just what you want on
You know what? I wouldn't worry about it.
Employee.
once. Once you don't like it. So, Steve, they don't like this one?
Oh, so if they already exist,
I don't have to.
you don't, yeah, if they're already there, that might check to make sure they're all there,
Oh, okay.
because it might just be one of them.
Oh,
It's weird because I looked at my original code and it didn't have those things, so I think it completed some of that extra code. But kind of mirrors.
Huh.
And who's more?
So it did the ones except maybe you had one of them.
Yeah, maybe.
What I based this on, because I redid this all with the script we created in class, which was slightly different than the script I created at home. So if you want to move forward, you guys have the foreign, and I can post these if you want.
is it okay?
I ran that.
Yeah, that do.
Okay.
Go ahead and run them. Well, actually, don't run them.
Oh my God.
Steve, can you scroll up to the adage of the gem?
Yeah, and that's in a. It's in a.
Oh,
Canvas.
Sorry, yeah, that's what you had. Okay.
So what happens if we did?
You'll probably have errors.
I didn't have errors.
No, you'll have errors when you do the SSIS.
So what do we do?
How do you get back? You could run the original script in the add-ins, but you just say you don't have the script.
I didn't say that.
Didn't I put it in the Canvas? I mean, not in Canvas, in,
I don't think so. That's the other class. I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's not correct yet.
Oh, okay. So, meanwhile, I have to do this to other avenue then.
yeah, the data warehouse SQL script is in the blog. So if you need to recreate it, yeah, don't run these. This is the danger of writing it in,
So just rerun the create
just
table,
rerun the script, and then if you need to rerun those ads,
the whole thing.
yeah, you
Just
can,
the fact that-
yeah. Well, I mean, the whole,
And now we have to go back in the ISS.
So what do you do to like? Oh, can't they just alter, we didn't drop the bus schedule, fact bus schedule, can't they just alter it to add a constraint?
you could add all of those constraints back in. There's actually, if you want to, rather than drop it, if you want, at the very bottom, the fact bus schedule, there's all these where we add the constraints. You could just run those, copy those and run those.
Yeah, that'll work.
So what you're doing is helping us from all the way.
Who ran it? Yeah, I didn't mean to run it because what will happen in the SSIS is if you drop the constraints and they don't exist, it'll crash at that point saying these don't exist.
Okay. Right. I got that.
But they do have all the adds are in this script. And you can add all those constraints back in.
Oh, it's in there. Where is it?
So where it starts with alter table, bus table, add constraint, it adds the primary key, it adds a bus schedule, it adds all of those things. So you can go through and just the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of that script, just run that, copy and run that part if you dropped everything.
So, it's in the home.
So I have to run the computer.
It's in congerblogspot.com. It's the second one down after the,
Yeah, I do know.
we haven't done those yet. What do you mean, the first up here? We haven't done those yet. We haven't dropped those yet. Yeah.
Practices, would you contain all the script that you're doing for this entire data warehouse thing in one big file, like, just put it all up?
Well, possibly. I mean, so this creates the database. And it does have the add the things which we're going to use at the end. The drops, I was doing them in here just because it's easier to write them in there, but you could write them in that window that I opened too.
Okay, so putting
Because you didn't remove those.
any comments on the best practice regarding that, or?
You did not remove.
You know what I did at home? I don't know if it's best practice, is I did a commented out section, which had all the drops.
So
So
you got,
you don't need that.
oh, I don't use that. But what do you do this one?
So we're dropping all of the foreign and primary keys that we need, right?
Yes,
I have, is it about 11 of them?
there's about 11. So we need to go through the other tables. The other tables only have primary keys. So I'm just going to alter table like dim bus. Drop constraint, PK dim bus. This is why I named them the way I did, is I just wanted it to be easy to remember what the primary keys and foreign keys are. This one would be dim bus schedule assignment, I guess. Is it PK dim bus key? Oh, yeah, you're right.
Can you pull them from something?
They're always, if you look under
Oh,
keys,
yeah.
and you don't have to drop the unique.
Okay, under my dim bus table, under keys, it's PK dim bus, but under columns, it's dim bus key.
Yeah, mine is bus. It's not the field name, it's the constraint name. They're not identical.
So you might have named your constraint.
So just, so.
Yeah, see, I have bus key there, but the actual constraint is dim bus.
Oh, you wrote that twice.
Yeah, I was gonna change this.
Okay.
I don't think constraint.
It's under keys.
Oh, here.
Just run your code full.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So dim bus schedule assignment.
So as long as I'm dragging over.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Dim bus schedule assignment. And if you want, again, you can always look under the keys for that table. And you could drag it over. And then, you know, it's the same for each of these. We're just going to drop the primary key for each of the tables. You have to drop the foreign keys first or it'll complain.
So you can just drag the name of the table over and drag.
You can, actually. So I haven't been dragging the table, but I could. So this would be like dim date. And the constraints. So again, under dim date, I would look for keys. Keys are a constraint, but they're treated a little differently. And the same with dim employee now.
No, correct the one.
And then dim route. And that's the last one we have to do because we already dropped the other one. So I just basically, it's all the foreign keys and all the primary keys. And then rather than run this when you're done, we want to go to all the drops and just copy all of them.
Oh,
I'll
wait.
come back,
yeah.
but it's just a matter of copying them. Not the ads, but all the drops. So all the foreign key drops, everything, all the drops. And pasting them in this box.
1, 2, 3, 4. There was only 5 you did. So you did dim bus schedule, dim date, dim employee, dim route. Did you do anything else?
But I did every table has to be. Yeah.
Yeah, fact bus schedule. I'm sorry.
That one actually should already be dropped because I did that first.
Okay, so there's only 5, I'm saying.
No, there should be more than that. I got fact bus schedule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for fact bus schedule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 after that, which is probably what you're counting.
I mean, all right, the first 4 we altered the table, yeah.
So there's,
Well, there's,
Oh, you're doing all the
there's
dim bus.
5 back bus schedule ones,
Yeah,
and then there's 5 other ones after that.
6 fact bus schedules.
6 fact bus schedules, because I also dropped the primary key up there.
And then how many dim bus?
5 of
Then 5.
those.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Well, dim bus schedule, yeah, dim date.
But you don't need to do fact bus schedule.
No, we
All
put
right.
that up above.
Okay. All right, and is that it?
Yeah, so it's just those tables, and then copy all of those,
Copy it,
and then paste them into this.
all of it, right, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe it would have been easier to write them in there.
I know.
But
You know,
And then you can just run it with your training, drill.
Yeah, double check the.
so
Wait, how do you get that window that's working?
it has 3 little dots by the sequel.
But before that, did you do something for the Michael Visual Studio?
All right, so let's skip the ads. All right, so we dropped the primary key of the fact bus schedule. We dropped the foreign key for bus, dim bus. We dropped the foreign key for dim bus schedule assignment. We dropped the foreign key for dim date. We dropped the foreign key for dim employee. We dropped the foreign key for dim route. And then we started dropping primary keys. The primary key for dim bus, the primary key for dim bus schedule assignment, primary key for dim date, dim employee, and dim route. So these are all the constraints. And then I copy from the first drop all the way down. And then in here, where it says SQL statement, there's that little box, and you can paste them into that. Now, one of the things that's useful to do here,
So you did your open SQL, execute SQL task?
I did not execute it. Don't execute it.
Just the open primary.
Yeah.
So what else you did with the sort of SQL?
Foreign key.
Well, all I did here was this, and then the, the connection.
So you just open up and then.
Yeah, this is, all of this is that first SQL task that we dropped on there. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change bypass prepare to false. And the reason I'm doing this is I just want to parse the query to make sure that it's all correct. That doesn't mean that it'll work. It just means that there's no SQL errors.
So you open up SQL task, right?
Right, so all of this, let me do OK, is in drop constraints, which is a SQL task. Execute SQL task. And the SQL task consists of basically a connection and a SQL statement. Right? And what we do in this SQL statement is this one. We're dropping all the constraints.
And then I just.
Yeah.
So you do listed column or what?
You move it
Yeah, and
over
then you can
and
do
then double click it.
Oh, you move over here.
Parse
Just put that in SQL statement.
All right,
Even though
so
it
let's
says that
look
it's
at
not
that.
supported.
Well, let's look inside of here. Well, let's see.
The first one is PK. Get all these first.
Let's look in your.
The first one is PK, and then what's the second one?
FK.
FK, and the third,
FK, oh, FK.
all right, and then after,
Is that FK?
then PK is, yeah. All right. So, it's just hard to read from the screen. I can't read it through you, but. Sometimes, yeah.
And keeping it right.
Yeah.
So you probably want to parse the query just to make sure that it is typed in correctly or copied correctly, because you could possibly, like you did, just leave out a square bracket or something.
So you double click drop constraint,
What?
doesn't do that.
Oh, so you,
Double click it.
yeah, double click if you drop.
You're right clicking.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go.
That's the whole thing for drop. That's the whole thing for that first SQL task.
Okay, and then what else do we do?
Okay, I'll send it.
You can-
So browse.
Okay, so
Always browse if that's the only option. And then
I know, it
you
could be
want
like
to-
one word letter off, you know?
It's not parsed.
Oh, is it? I just sent her the code.
Okay.
So,
All right. So,
You could press OK.
are we ready for the next step?
Yep.
right there, drop it.
This is also a SQL task. You'll probably be glad it's the last one until the end.
No. What does that say?
I'm going to call it truncate tables.
You pick your server first, then you pick your data.
So what this will do is, in this one, we're just going to take every table and make it empty.
Okay. And then, okay. And then you need a SQL version.
Just skip Control A.
All right, are we ready for this one? Yes,
It's
no.
not working.
You just renamed it.
It goes up top on top.
Well, let's see
All
what
of it.
the error is. Oh, you know what, that's actually just this.
She marked.
There you go.
No
Oh yeah,
connection.
she's got,
We need
they
the
all
connection.
set as primary keys also. Well, but they're foreign keys, they're both.
No, he said, look at this one, right?
Yeah, so you wanna make sure that these names are these two.
Keyword, your table.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wow.
You have to put the foreign keys up top.
Oh. Because you're very bad at explaining.
Wow.
No, I'm not
I
gonna
really only say it in English, so.
No, you just doing means the, and then we do this. So foreign key is first you run it.
Oh, you know what?
No, you just cut and paste it, you don't wanna run it. That was the whole thing that just went down
Oh,
over on this side of the room.
Okay. And what else did this one do?
So you want
Just
to
query,
query.
Oh, first, yeah. So.
We're just parsing it. We're just making sure that it's
So I
syntactically
have to run it
correct.
every single time for the key.
Okay, I knew this part would take a while, but, so this is the second SQL task,
Oh.
execute SQL task, truncate. I am going to, so the connection will be the same, Metro Alt DW. The SQL statement is actually very simple. I'll just type it in here to prevent disasters, I guess. So what you want to do is truncate table, and then we need to do this for every table. It doesn't matter what order. You want that bigger?
And then go. Chunky.
I'll be back into it in just a second. No, I don't want the E's. Go away.
This one is
Close. Go away.
No, I just want to double check. And this one is different.
Yeah, the connections.
All right. Truncate table dim employee.
And then you're going to do the query, right? And it keeps doing it.
And basically do the same phrase for every dim bus.
What is this?
Same thing that he's doing, just looks different, so just delete that.
Is a dim route? You have to name the tables right.
Yes.
Same thing, SQL query, query builder.
Just like for people. Something.
Oh, trunk.
Yeah, because we always have to connect. Yeah.
So it's fact bus schedule, right?
Yeah.
All right, so there's the 6 tables. We just need to, truncate is the same as saying delete everything. You could have the same effect by saying delete from table.
So how are we saving the data
In what?
in the table?
There aren't any data in the tables. I mean, it's a different data. So the actual
Oh, right,
data,
this is them, that's the other.
the actual data in Metro Alt will stay in Metro
Right.
Alt.
Press OK.
You do not want to do this with the link. Well, actually, these tables don't exist in Metro Alt, so you wouldn't be deleting anything in there.
Right.
But yeah, no, we don't empty the data from Metro Alt, just from the Metro Alt DW. And the point is that because if you recopied the new data in there, you know, it would be really hard to figure out what's new. So the easiest thing is just to delete everything and then copy it all over, right? Then you get the new and the old.
You could run it a bunch of times a day, right?
You could run it as often as you want to refresh your DW database once we get it all set up. That's actually all you have to do is just truncate each table. I'll give you just a second, but you guys got it? So we just do OK. And again, if you really want to test this, instead of saying bypass repair, you turn it to false. It won't parse the query if you don't turn this line to false. When I parse the query, it says everything is OK. One other warning about the parse query is that it generally, it says that the SQL is correct. It doesn't say it'll work. That's a different issue.
Can you leave it on false for both?
Yeah, I leave it on
Okay.
false. I'm not sure why it's defaults to true. I guess I figure you've already tested your query. You don't need to test it. And I think it adds a tiny bit of processing time because it'll test the query before it runs it.
Oh, you want to use the last one again? Yes.
So I'm going to do OK. Okay, so those are 2 of our things. So we've dropped the constraints and we've emptied the tables. Now what we need to do is to populate all of the dim tables. The dim date is the most complicated. We'll do the other ones first. And the fact table are the most complicated. So this time I'm going to do a data flow task. Remember doing those at the beginning? You know, I am connecting them. The connection on this level just means that the task will flow. First we'll do this one, then we'll do this one. And we'll do the data flow task after. I'm moving them over here because we're actually going to have a lot of these things. And so I'm going to kind of, you don't have to, but I'm going to kind of go like this as a layout. So this data flow task, I'm going to name it, is basically, let's do populate dim employee. And it doesn't need a space in there, although it doesn't matter either. So I'm going to double click it. Are you guys with me still? Here's a question. Do you think you guys could figure out how to do this on your own?
Yeah.
Is it on the internet?
There are lots of things on the internet, although I found most of them more confusing than helpful. There are lots of videos. I didn't watch a lot of the videos, so some of them might be useful. And there is one of the most useful books I have found, as I said, is this, but it's way back for SQL Server 2005, and some things have changed. But this is actually a pretty useful, partially because when this came out, the whole process was brand new. So they had to explain things in more detail. Yeah. So I double click the data flow task and we're in here. And this is the stuff like we did at the very beginning of the summer quarter here, which wasn't that long ago, but seems like an eternity. We need a source, right? So I am going to do sources, other transforms, common sources. Now we don't have an SQL source, and I'm not sure why they don't, but OLEDB will work. So I drag an OLEDB source onto there. OLEDB will work for anything. It's basically Microsoft's generic driver. It'll work with just about any database. And I'm going to, I'll name it. I'm trying to be good about naming things here. So I'm going to say like employee source. And then I'm going to double click it. Now, we do not want MetroDW here because the source is actually going to be MetroAlt. We're getting the data from MetroAlt, right? So I'm going to make a new source here. And it's not in my list, so I'm going to do new. What? Right, so I have to make a new one. What do you mean?
Good old.
Well, so cancel this. Delete that. We want a data flow task.
Right?
You want data flow task.
No.
Then your toolbar should
No, I have
change to
MetroDW.
other sources.
We're doing Metro?
What if you have, I can just use.
If you have MetroAlt, you can use it.
Okay.
I shouldn't have done that, but it worked actually this time. That's good. So the database that I want is MetroAlt this time, not MetroAltDW. I'm going to do OK.
We're not picking a specific table, right?
Oh, yes, we are. So the table I'm going to choose is employee. Okay, so that's the employee source. The other thing actually, I just chose the table employee.
Oh,
If we want to look at the columns, now not every column that we want is here. So we're going to have to do a couple of lookups too. So we're going to do a couple of lookups. What?
no, never mind.
So I'm going to, up above here where we got different tools, I'm just going to do, higher up yet, lookups. There it is. I'm going to drag the blue arrow down, and then open up the lookup. And we could name this if you want, but I'm going to do the connection, and we want MetroAlt. And the table we're going to look up right now is employee position. Well, so we want the position name. We also want a couple of fields that are in employee position. So
Is this based on the DIM?
this isn't based on the DIM. Well, we want the fields to go into the DIM employee, which has more fields than the employee table does.
Right.
So, but the fields do exist in the MetroAlt database And we can use the relationships there to get them, right?
But so are we building this data flow based on the DIM?
Yes, the whole point is to populate the employee data. Okay. So we want that. We want to go to columns. All right, so we want the hourly pay rate and we want the position key. And the reason we want the position key is that we'll use it to get the position name in the next lookup. The way to tie these together is the employee key. So I drag from there to there. Yeah, you don't have those? Or? Go back. You have to connect those two.
Yeah, finding more. Look at this.
All right, I'll come with you in a second.
How did you connect?
What's your
drag it.
source?
I will keep it with you. It doesn't connect.
So I want to take a review.
I use light green or red green?
Go ahead.
Red green, right? They don't like it.
No, don't go through. Oh, yeah, actually, that's fine.
It doesn't work.
Well, this is.
Do you do connection? No. Oh, that way. Oh. Oh my God, I was like, it didn't do it. I love you.
Don't match the, it looks like your employee is matched to, let's kill that.
It's
To make sure that we drive over the key.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
The employee key needs to match employee key, and it's really, I think this is a pretty hokey way to do it, because you have to,
Right.
yeah. Well, no, you don't want to put the box.
Yeah. What is he matching?
You just want to drag it. Oh,
I mean, I know it's like making.
but what we're going to look up from, which one are you on?
You have to do this.
So look at, so you want to switch it to, go ahead and do the connect, Metro Alt, table or view, and then do employee position. Not position, but employee keys. And then do column.
What is the what?
Employee key, drag it across, and then you want to check, put check boxes into position
Not very
key
clearly.
and the employee hourly rate, pay rate. Was there anything else that we needed there? We don't really need the data signed, I don't think. So you guys got this? And if you want to name this, you could do look up position key, something to let you know what's going on. I'm going to do another lookup. And again, you need to connect it to the blue arrow. The output is lookup match output. So it's another lookup. I'm going to just call it lookup position name.
That's weird. When I connect it.
You have to do that dialog where it says match output. If you don't say match output, nothing will come through.
Where are you finding that?
All right, so when you go from this lookup and you hook it,
Yeah.
then
I
you
see
just
that.
drop it and look up match
Oh,
output.
okay, good.
So in this one, the connection is still Metro Alt. This time the table is position. If you look at the columns, we want the position name. And we get that from the position key, which is way down here at the bottom, because we got that last lookup.
I don't see that one.
Did you get it from the last time?
Yeah.
Another lookup.
Position key. Okay, so do okay.
from here.
And you did-
move to this.
Oh, you said no match lookup. Redo this connection.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll put his match on.
Connect it again. And say look at match.
Double click that.
okay.
And then do okay. And you, yeah, well, before you do that, you need to choose the table position.
What did you think you play
Thanks,
position?
connection,
Okay.
table this position.
Do the columns, you have to, yeah.
Position.
Position.
And the position name?
Yes.
And we want position name.
No, position key goes to position key.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're matched by position key and we're getting the position name.
And then you check position name.
If you
Okay.
think about the relations, this is how you tell, you're just recreating the relations. Now you could, if you prefer, we could do all this in just SQL, right? It's a bit of a pain, but you could. No?
That's the key, that's the key,
I
right?
mean, realistically.
Position one.
You'd create this package and then, as I said, once it's made, you can just run it over and over again whenever you need.
So, but do you think it?
Some people would write it all in SQL, which you could do.
You would do it PowerShell?
No. Because you want to create this package. And you couldn't do that so well in PowerShell. You could actually, but it wouldn't be just writing the SQL. You would have to do a huge, complicated C# script to create the package. Yeah. So anyway, once we've got this, I'm going to do OK. And now we have our two lookups. So basically, we're just adding the fields that weren't in employee proper. And now what we want is the destination. And we do have SQL Server destinations. So this is the employee destination. And you know, again, I'm naming them. You don't have to, but just yeah, it could be. That's probably better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a SQL Server, and again, you want to connect. If you don't connect, the data doesn't flow through. And if you don't say look up match output, nothing flows through. So I'm not sure why the other option is there.
Would you ever use that option?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe. You know what I'm thinking when you might use it is that tool we're not using, there's a way to branch.
Okay, right.
So maybe one branch you use to look up and the other branch you don't.
Yeah.
You know, that's a
Based on
possibility.
conditionals or
Yeah.
something, depending on how intricate.
So we're not doing that. Yeah, I mean, there are things in this SSIS, if you really want to study it, you can do loops, right? You can create transactions. You can do lots of really, you can split, you can join. There are lots of complicated things you can do. I figure this is complicated enough for an introduction, though. All right, so now this time, we do not want Metro Alt, we want Metro Dim, because the destination is in the dimension table. And the table, so we got the DW, and then the table we want is dim employee. And then we need to check the mappings to make sure everything maps. And pretty much, because things are named the same, it looks pretty good. It looks like everything matches.
Wait, so which did we choose?
Dim employee is the destination.
Oh.
Yeah, it has to be Metro Alt DW. And the first column is ignored, and that's fine. It's an auto number.
Oh, okay.
And that should, so I think we're good there.
Steve, how did you get look match output to appear?
So when you do the lookup and when you click on it, draw the line and connect, it should just pop up.
No, it pops up for me, but it appears on your.
It should appear on yours. But it did connect, okay?
Yeah, but he named it the same.
Offset that. There it is.
Yeah, I think that's,
Doesn't show. Do you know what? As long as it works. It may be an option. You know, if you go into options, it might be an option that isn't. checked. But as long as it's actually flowing through, it's showing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to have this right here?
Probably not. What is that? What does it say?
Let's see, it says no rows will be sent to the no match out.
No, Rose.
Oh, yeah, I did. So this is the.
So it's not, let's look at it again. I'll
Okay.
double click that one.
Columns.
Columns. Position key, as new columns. So do okay.
Okay. So the next one.
Yeah, I think it's actually okay now.
Thank you.
Sometimes if it needs updated, it'll give you that warning message.
Right.
So this is dim employee. All right, so any questions about that? Because we're going to do this like 3 or 4 times. It does make sense. I mean, basically, we got a source. If there's anything that we need to look up, we look up and then we put it into the destination. Right. The differences are a couple of differences when we get to the date in the fact table. But the other things that are different is we added the SQL things which we hadn't done before. So in the data flow here again, I'm going to add, so in the control flow, I'm going to add another data flow task. And let's, and I'll hook them. The hooking is just the sequence in which they execute. In fact, if you don't hook them, they'll stop at the one place where the connection stopped. Does that make sense? So if I didn't hook this one, it would go into dim employee and it would stop there. So I'm going to do populate, doesn't matter which one much, but what do you want to do? Dim bus. So again, I'll double click it. We will do a source, which will be the OLEDB source. And we could say bus source or whatever. Double click it. All of these controls, you just double click it and set the properties. Metro Alt is where we want to go. So that's correct. We want the table bus. And we will do OK. Actually, you might look at the columns. There are a couple of things that we need from another table, which is bus type. So we do need a lookup. So I'm going to add a lookup here.
Did you okay for the previous one?
I did okay on the other one.
Oh, okay.
So the connection is Metro Alt. The table I want to look up is bus type. And I forget bus key. Actually, it's bus type key that we want to match. And I think we want the bus type description. And did we put capacity in there?
Capacity and purchase price.
And purchase price, which is down below, yeah.
Is that what
Purchase price, capacity.
So I did description, capacity, and purchase price.
Okay.
So, and this is, yeah, this is Metro Alt.
And it was bus type key to
It's
type
bus type, well, it's actually not bus type key. Yeah, it's bus type key, never mind.
to bus type.
But to bus type key.
Good.
And we do OK.
Can you name it?
First two,
Okay, bus type key and bus description.
Yep.
That's it?
bus type capacity, and you don't want to click on the first one. Yeah, there you go. Hit okay.
Do what? I still can't hear. This. Metro alternate bus type. And then basically, the only one I didn't use of those fields is the MPG, which could have been something to analyze, I suppose. So I'm going to do okay. Guys with me still? What would come next? Basically the destination, right? And the destination would be dim bus. This is a destination, SQL Server destination. And again, you want to match the output. And this one you want DW, not alt. And the table is dim bus. And you do want to do mappings. Actually, this is mapping just fine. But you always want to check it because they may not. You could, at different times, you could run these to test them, but if you do that, you're going to have to add back in the constraints and do some other stuff.
Yeah, you have to like explicitly click on it, because even if you click here, it's not going to, it doesn't select you. You have to like really click on it.
Oh.
Are you guys okay with that one mostly? Because it looked like it matched everything just fine.
And then do the last one. Oh, yeah, okay.
So, do the, what does it say? Does it say which field? If you have to, you do
Curious why.
I'm not sure why yours. Does anybody else have an error on type there? Oh. What is the typing you do? Oh, instead of info. Now you'll have to probably update everything. Update the source. Go ahead, the first make it.
I definitely see the importance of doing this right the first time. And never have to do it again. Oh, you did it.
She's like, I'm doing that.
Well, it's just an example.
So, do you love?
Oh, for the route?
Yeah.
Oh, bus route.
Hopefully they didn't bust that, right?
Oh, so you still open source to this new issue?
Oh, yeah.
So add a.
This goes to bus route.
Yeah.
Oh, the matchup.
Is that Airbnb?
No, this is VR. Website for years and actually kind of fancier, bigger
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. Oh, that really looks nice.
Like full builds. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. You just have to put your price range higher, you know?
We've been using this one
Like the same,
Yeah.
it's like an awesome. Give it a shot, because I know you do stuff.
$47 a person. So this one was, that was the only.
Right.
I need it.
You don't need to look up. It goes straight.
They
from
have like
source
luxury
to
ones that
Alright.
and see, that's nice. Oh, no, I would take it.
I'll look, but yeah.
Yeah.
because you don't need to look up anything. The two fields that you need are
Right.
both in those tables.
Oh, because of like.
Just-
Uh,
Yeah, basically, look at your
Oh, yeah, yeah,
table.
because that key in
Yeah.
because as it's.
The data that we want is just straight up.
Okay. And so, take up one more.
What's your-
They're all retired. It's all my questions. And it's my mom's friends, and my boyfriend, his sister, and her boyfriend, and then all the Italians. So this is what just a little, so the Italians that are doing this would come down. Yeah, this is just for regulars.
You gotta have that. That many people, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately, the one that we stayed at 4 years ago. You don't need to, big things.
Oh.
The barcode equivalent is in there.
Right. Oh, I hate that.
Nothing,
It's
you
not.
don't need to,
Look, so you don't-
yeah, you don't need a big one.
All right, so I'm going to do the next data control. So back to the control flow, and I'm going to add a data flow task. And if you can't get that, I will help you get it in a moment, Anne-Marie. So I'm going to hook these. And so what one do we need to populate now? Bus. Let's do bus route. So I'll just name this populate dim route. And this one I think is pretty simple. I'm not even sure it needs any lookups.
It doesn't.
So we just need the source. And we want Metro Alt, and the table that we want is route. And the columns are the route and the zone. And I think that's all we really need. But we'll need the destination, of course.
Yeah.
So I just did the bus route.
And did you do anything in columns?
No, I just looked.
Okay.
And then if I want to I'll just do a SQL Server destination. I'll just change it to dim route destination. And then I'll double click it just to confirm. So I need to do the table is dim. Okay, now it's MetroDW.
Oh, okay.
And then we will do dim route, wherever dim route is, there it is. And then make sure that it maps and then just do okay. Are you having any luck?
Oh, yeah, I changed it to a string.
And it worked. Okay, good. All right, so going back to control flow. So we've done employee, bus, dim route.
Now, dim bus schedule assignment.
Well, I think we could do, yeah, let's do dim bus schedule assignment, and then we'll do the date and then the fact table. So same old thing, data flow task. This one I think has a couple lookups. Whoa, I didn't want to do that yet. I just wanted to name it. It's schedule assignment, but I'm going to do populate. I'm not going to write the whole sketch thing. And I'm going to hook this up. And then we'll double click it. It needs a source. So the same thing, OLEDB source. Alt is correct. The table will be bus schedule assignment. Okay. Now I don't remember what's in our thing.
It's in the bus schedule with some shift name.
Right. So the shift we'll have to look up, right? Is that the only thing? And riders.
And then, yeah. No, it's.
Oh, that's the fact.
No, bus route.
Yeah, that's the fact. I want to go to the dim schedule assignment. We do need the shift, but that's about it. So one lookup with the shift name. Do you need a break?
So drive shift.
Okay, yeah. So we will need to look up that.
Okay, so look up for the driver shift.
And I might hold in a moment until Catherine comes back for that. So we'll do a lookup. And it's with Alt. And what we want to look up is shift. I think just whatever the name of it is. Bus driver shift. So we want to match the keys. And we want the shift name. Did we include the start time and end time? Huh, okay.
We just have employee key, bus route key, bus key, and schedule assignment date.
Okay.
So do we have to look up all those others?
No, I think that's all we have. Well, which ones are the other
We
ones?
have employee key, bus route key, and bus key.
I think they're already in there, in the underlying table. Well, I mean, I think they're already in the schedule, in the source table. So let me make sure I get this one right.
Is this a view?
So we're matching bus driver shift to bus driver shift, and we're just looking up the shift name. I think in one version I did at home, I had the start and stop times too, but
Oh,
we're
the shift
matching-
key with the shift key.
Schedule. Oh, bus driver shift, the shift.
yeah, we just want the shift name. And then the destination.
Wait, I don't have that.
You should. So you look it up in bus driver shift,
I checked shift
Oh.
name.
And-
it didn't.
and you did the shift key to the shift key.
Bus driver.
Bus driver shift.
Oh,
Bus driver shift.
So just
I
that
had
one.
the wrong tone from. Bus driver shift. Yeah.
It should work.
So you just want the shift name in this?
Yeah, just the shift name.
Or do I have to tell it which one is the shift name? Since it's the name?
Oh, we'll probably have to do, yeah, when we do the,
Bus driver shift name, I can drag over the shift name.
you can drag it or you can do it right down here. There's a drop-down list of fields, which I find easier than dragging it.
So first one you did it, bus driver shift.
So it won't match bus driver shift name with shift name.
What's,
So you have to look it up, but it's in the drop-down list.
So first the lookup you connected bus driver shift key and bus.
Right.
driver shift
that's
key, right?
Do you want to mess Metro off DW for the last?
Yeah. This is what I did, bus driver shift key.
Okay. Did you do those ads? All those ads?
Bus driver shift key with bus driver shift key and you select the name.
Name of-
Those alter table ads?
Yeah.
And then you're,
And then I just select.
It doesn't seem to be in there.
but hey, you got some good experience in
You ran out of those?
clicking on.
So it just succeeded.
That
so
last
it won't-
schedule assignment or bus, which one you did it tonight?
So in here.
Schedule
so
time.
we do, Metro.
And then
then-
mappings, and then here.
Which, you know, it's really good to familiarize yourself with data,
Yeah.
especially within, you know,
You're okay with that. Double click this again.
Yeah, and then my
New columns.
Or before.
Oh, if I come back on Thursday.
And then I think you can go to the bottom.
It just seems like they do it.
And then DW.
I know.
They should just know it's like, oh, this is not something that I set up, so therefore I should just
No,
not even like
that's
click on
not-
it at all.
Yeah, it's.
oh, yes,
But I
you
can't
name,
open
right?
it, so then
Yeah, shift.
Yeah,
Bus
it's
driver,
very
just
easy.
shift.
I
Not
can
the
use
shift
all
key.
of it if it's like, seriously. So I have to-
Did you look up just the shift key? Let's go back to your lookup. Cancel. Let's go back up to the lookup. Maybe you're not sure. Yeah, because you don't want to do the shift key. You want the shift name. You can do that. You want to map, you want to mention where the shift key. So you have to, and now when you do the DW, it just, so I guess we'll take a 5-10 minute break and then we'll finish this up because the next ones are a little bit hard. The date and
In date, and what was the other one?
the fact table. So we'll do those in like 10 since a lot of people are drifting out. I might go real quickly. I'm going to leave this running so there'll be a dead spot in the video, but because I don't know how to pause it. It's either stop it or.
You're gonna buy me stuff? Shit.
Like 5 years ago.
Totally bring it back, write it all down.
I'm like, man.
Oh, should I go bring this to the fridge?
Oh,
It's fine.
I even didn't bring my containers.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, man, that was.
No
oh, man.
snacky. Oh.
Okay.
Everybody's quicker.
Yeah, I know. I'll wait till they come back.
So give me the exact the hard ones and the thing.
We're almost done. Just the date and the fact table, and then add back the constraints.
Okay.
But I thought this would take all day, and I think it will. And then we'll hope that it works.
Yeah. Oh my god.
When I ran it at home, it worked without any errors, but you never know. It's almost chilly in here. I'm not used to being chilly.
Yeah, it's like.
Where is that?
It's all locations, but it's essentially like a 1 year, it's like they're on grad school.
Oh.
But it's a full-time job, you're paid, and you're working on actual projects there. Under the assumption that you can hands-on instruction.
Do they require that you be like a engineering, like a computer engineering?
CS degree or equivalent. So I'm hoping that bachelor's combined with this.
Could give it a shot.
They're automatic applies, so we don't call everyone.
Yeah.
But I mentioned the recruiter who gave me a positive review, so I'm
Well, it's worth a try. I haven't heard of it, so.
Oh, you have a watermelon and cherry.
Too late.
Do you always wear red t-shirts?
Say what?
Do you always wear red t-shirts?
Usually, I have a few of them. I have a few of them.
Don't worry, I laundry. I do laundry all the time.
The washing machine does laundry. There's a reason why
I
we have
do.
invented a
Do you
washing.
have to still like holding his clothes?
Oh no, this is folding machine. I just put on the bed and he can fold. Yeah, no.
Yeah, my own laundry.
Yeah, he folds my stuff too, so it's good. I just leave it there. So you can sleep in the bed if you put on the top, so you have to fold it. Perfect. That's true.
See, but in fairness to me, you have to tell them that the only reason I don't do laundry from start to finish is because you don't want me to
Yeah,
mess up your washing
My
machine
stuff, yeah. That's why.
or your stuff.
I can understand that.
But you know
But
what?
I know how to separate
But
white
he
to colors.
likes pot and
I
stuff
don't even
to
do that
wash.
anymore. I don't have enough clothes to fill up one load.
Oh,
I mean, they've all been washed enough, they're not gonna bleed. So.
Yeah.
I used to not when I was in apartment living, only because it was $1.50 a load.
Oh, we have
And-
it in units.
Yeah,
Mine is mine.
and then you'd run the risk. This is my favorite one. So I throw it in and I do my things, hoping to get it done. I'll come back and like it wouldn't just drain correctly. So all my clothes are just like soaked
Yeah.
and like mildewed.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have to run it again and hope that it drains. And then it's like you gotta dry it, but then the dryer may not kick in, but take your money. Or if it does kick in, it'll just blow like cold air, which won't dry it. So now you have like dampy mildew
Where
clothes.
was this? Remind me never to rent that.
It's actually in Madison Park, right? So you would think
Yeah.
that they'd be like sufficiently set up.
Obviously
No,
not.
were they
But-
cheap for Madison Park? Yeah.
I think it's all
So,
old.
yes, but
like,
no.
I see.
They're cheap because everyone that lives there is old folks that have been there for 10 or more years. So they're all grandfathered in at those rates.
Got it.
Like this one lady bragged to me how she can still smoke in her apartment because she's been there for 25 years and only pays $900 and also has all 5 of her grandchildren in there during the winter. So she kicks up the heat and they're all, showering and burn the water. And I'm like, wait, I'm never here. My heat is off. We shower twice a day. Why am I paying $200 for hot water?
Right.
And then I see all the shoes in front of her apartment and I'm like,
Okay, right.
come on.
All right, are we ready?
So, yeah, don't live there.
Are we ready? Yes, we are ready.
I think everyone's back except Anne Marie.
Everyone that can handle it.
Whoa.
So what I'm going to do right now is go to the management studio. And I think to avoid confusion, let's just do a brand new query. Make sure it's Metro Alt DW. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually not Metro Alt DW. These should be in Metro Alt. So use Metro Alt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make some sources in Metro Alt. It's just easier than trying to compile all this stuff in the SSIS. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a function. And I'm going to call it fx date to int. And I will put these up as we do it. It's going to take in a date. And that shouldn't be an asterisk, that should be a paren. And it's going to returns int as begin. All right. And it just doesn't like that it doesn't have a go at the start. You don't remember making functions?
I know.
So, oh, well, actually, that should be fine. Why does it not like? Yeah, well, I'm just wondering why it,
Probably because you don't have the return statement.
oh, yeah, the last return. That's, yeah, you're correct. We will have that. So this is the basic structure of a function. Create a function, give it a name, any parameters that the function takes, its return type, which is why it has an S there, as, and then you have a begin and end. We will do a return in a moment, but first I'm going to do a bunch of declares. So declare at year int. I'm trying to think, do I need those? Oh, well, we'll go with what I got. Declare at month int. I don't know that I need these int ones, and that's declate, which won't work. Declare at day int. And then I'm going to do the same things as in varchar, or actually just, they could just be car, but I'll do them as in varchar, I guess. Declare at, and I'm just going to do it like string year as, actually it doesn't need the as, in varchar 4 at string month in varchar 2 and declare at string of day in varchar 2. I actually think we could get rid of these. Let's hold them for a minute though, because we can do the cast as we do it.
True. Well, it's not gonna hurt. I mean, it's just lines on.
And I'm also going to declare I'm trying to think int date. Okay.
What about the day of the week?
We don't need that because we can get that from the date. What we're going to do in this function is we want to turn the date into something that looks like this. So today is year 2015 08 04. And that's going to be the key field of the date. The thing is that there isn't a built-in function that outputs it that way. So what we have to do is we have to take them all out as ints using the function, convert them to strings, concatenate it, and then take the concatenated string and turn it into an int. We also have to do a thing, so it returns 8 and it returns 4. So we need to, if the string's length is less than 2, add a 0 to it.
Oh, okay. But what about in the dim date table, there's a day of the week? What do you?
Day of the week is actually, it can be done with date part function. We'll do that in the next part is in the query. We'll use this function and we'll get the date of the week and all of that. So, but it's a built-in function, unlike this. So what I'm going to do is, I guess I'll do this kind of tediously, but I'll set at year equals year at date. So at date is what we're passing in, right? Set at month equals month at date. Set at day equals day at date. And then I'm just going to convert each of those to a string. As I said, I could do that in one statement. So we could probably do away with the ints, but set at string year equals cast at year as in varchar 4. Does that make sense? Didn't?
Oh, I.
Set at string month equals cast at month as in varchar 2, and then the same set at string day equals cast at day. Can't spell. Did I not make a string? I did string day. What? Why does it not
I
like?
know.
Maybe. In varchar 2. Not 20. Yeah, it was just I hadn't finished. All right, so that's all of our casts there, but then we have to do a check.
So why are we doing both an int version?
Well, so the
int version?
you can't concatenate the ints. And we need to concatenate it together like this,
Then why do we want them as ints?
because that's the only way we can extract it from the. Although I suppose you could do some really clever substring things. All right, so then I'm going to, before we concatenate, we need to do some if statements. If at string month. Actually, there's a little function I have to do before that. If len at string month is less than 2, and I'm going to do begin and end. Remember, those are like curly braces. So if I do that, then I am going to,
You need another.
I think it's okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. No?
No,
All
you're
right.
right.
So I'm going to say that set at string month equals 0 plus at string month. Okay, and I'm going to do the same for day. If length, len is for length, right? And I will post this if you need. Anyway, so at day is less than 2, begin and end. And I'm going to do basically the same thing. Set at string day. I was thinking ahead of myself there and I got lost for a second. Equals 0 plus at string month. And the plus here are stress day, thank you.
What is this?
It's adding a 0 because the integer function, if the month is 8, it just returns 8.
I see.
And we want it to be a string like this,
Yeah.
with 0804. And so we're concatenating it in, right? So in this, we're gonna end up with a string that looks like this, and then we're gonna convert it to a date. We couldn't do it with integers because it would treat the plus as addition. And I'm doing this as verbosely as possible. We could combine all of this into a couple of functions, and like you could cast within a cast within a cast. And I just thought it might be clearer to do it step by step. So I am going to do a couple of casts here, in that I'm going to do at int date equals cast. And then I'm going to do at string year plus at string month plus at string day as int. Oh, and then this, you can't just do it equals, it has to be set. And then I'm going to return at int date. So that it's kind of hairy, and just in terms of all the misdirection stuff you have to do.
Wait, does the as in go in or outside of the parentheses? Inside.
Inside the parentheses, because it's part of the cast. I'm concatenating the string, and then I'm casting it to an integer. So the concatenation should happen first.
Why would this not, something's wrong, huh?
What does it say? Put the cursor over it. Does it have a?
No.
You know what? Put a go in front of that.
Actually, no, format code.
Oh,
You'll see what's missing. So it's your end, you're missing an end. To see how your
Begin,
the end goes
end.
with that begin, you need another end.
which, right under here?
Oh, this begin is extra.
Oh, so you-
Not that one, the one above
before
it.
So,
So now reformat.
Okay. okay, thank you. That's good to do that.
That's why I love
That
it.
helps.
I should, yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty awesome.
that is pretty awesome.
So I'm going to put this as an announcement in the Canvas. So let's run it to make sure it works.
Yes.
So it's successful there. Let's see if it actually works. That's a separate thing.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select dbo.fx. It won't show up there, except date to int. It takes a long time for them to start showing up. And then I'm just going to do get date in there. Let's see if it returns the date in the format that we're thinking. That looks good. So it returned it the way I wanted it. So now that it works, I will post it in Canvas. So I just did, no, it's not an exec. A function you use in a select.
Oh.
And it's underlined because it takes it forever to recognize it. I'll real quickly go to, and I am going to, why doesn't it have new announcement here? All right, so new announcement. Date to int function.
And it's gonna be red because it's in the future first, so we refresh it. And so then parentheses, and then in the parentheses, give it parentheses.
So it's in there as an announcement if you need it. So this is part of what we need to do. 'Cause it's Are you ready for the next part?
I don't know why hers is not working. I mean,
What is the error?
oh, because you ran it more than once, didn't you? To alter,
Maturity is.
alter feature.
Well, not that.
Not that.
The create function needs to be altered.
That's why.
Now you still got, so do it go, don't, at the very beginning, do it go. How about that? Between it and then the other thing is, it says you don't have, where do you use that date? Month, date, you didn't put, actually you do have that date. Why does it not like that?
So do you think that we would be able to do this?
Yeah, we need this.
To put into the folder, so that instead of populating dates.
Oh, we're gonna do this.
I just made it instead. Just made it already.
As it may not have created it actually.
Also,
I think the whole thing was just, not having that go.
oh, so I put in, yeah.
I can do some more.
Okay, ready for the next part? So we need to create a view for the date table. So I'm going to create VW, or we'll create view. VW, I'm going to call it dim date as, and if we look at dim date, when we go down to here, the columns, we need the key, right? And we need the, some of the others we can get. So I'm going to do select, and I'm going to do that DBO, the function that we just did. DBO dot fx date to int. And the date that we will enter will be the bus schedule assignment date. As we could just call it date key or dim date key, because it's going to be that'll give us the key, right? And then we need the bus schedule assignment date.
So we need it twice?
No, the function can just take it. I mean, it just takes whatever this is. So
And then one more time.
All right.
Wants to keep the other ones the date.
Yours is wrong too. Bus schedule some date.
Did I spell it wrong?
Oh, never mind.
Well, you know it's wrong because we haven't
Yeah,
got
we
a
haven't
table yet.
Joined it, yeah.
So the year bus schedule assignment date. Most all of these are going to be based on the bus schedule assignment date. So I'm going to copy that because it's hard to spell.
So we're doing both month and day.
As I'm going to just do as year, comma, and then we'll do the month and the day. So basically month as month.
Oh, you don't need to pick the bus schedule assignment year and assignment months. Just do the date.
And then I'm going to do the day. Now, the day of the week, I'm going to do date part DW bus schedule assignment date. Yes, I do need a comma after day. What do we want to call this? I guess we could just call it day of the week. That DW there, date part weekday, will actually return the weekday. And one of the things, it returns it as a varchar. So it returns it as a, it'll actually return Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You know, that's actually how it will do it. So I think that's all of our parts, and really it just is coming from bus schedule assignment, right?
After you pay for your premises, actually
What?
or day of week
Right.
before that you would have.
You do not. However, to be consistent, I could put it there. As is optional always. You could leave it out anywhere.
Month is not recognized as a bill.
Should be.
Oh, just close the,
And then
close the C.
Oh,
after.
So this should, I'm going to,
Run it.
well, yeah, run the view. And then I'm going to check it just to be sure. So select star from VW dim date. And so it gives us, actually the day of the week, it's not returning what I think. Should return the word.
Oh,
The day of the week.
There was a way,
Date part an int or it returned an int.
right, I'm looking on the, what I actually did there. Oh, you know, it's the wrong function.
Oh.
Change it from date part to date name. And I believe everything else is the same. Let me look at that. Yeah. Yeah, so alter the view.
it works.
So first I want to execute and then,
Oh, yeah.
there we go. So that essentially is what we want to populate our date table with.
Yeah, looks good.
So let's go to,
And when you guys are doing the density function, you use Metro Alt, is that correct?
yes,
Okay, and then here,
this is also in Metro Alt. So what we're going to do, I guess we could do it and then come back and do the fact table. I'm going to go to the studio, and in the control flow, we will do another thing, which is to a data flow task. And this data flow task will be to populate dim date. And so we'll do the OLEDB source. Let's just do date source. We'll double click it. So we want Metro Alt. The table and views, so it says tables and views, and notice dim date is down there.
This
So
component has no available input columns. Like the dates.
When you
So double click it. What kind of, oh, you did destination. You need to do the sources.
Oh, which
Oh, I-
one? Which source?
An OLEDB
Oh,
source.
God. That's right, sorry.
That's okay. We should be able to go straight for the destination.
Wait, what did you
Wait a
select?
second. I got it. I want-
The dim date, the view we just made, VW dim date.
Dim date.
Can you give
Columns.
this destination straight away?
Yeah, so the SQL Server destination. It has no available columns because I haven't linked it yet. All right, come on.
And so let's schedule assignment date is connected.
And this should be DW. And we want dim date. And we want, okay, so now it isn't matching these, but we can do this. Date key, year, month, day, and day of week.
Date key is not.
It's not auto number. That's why we did the function. It's going to,
Oh. Okay. Then it's okay, right?
yeah, should be.
So this one.
The only thing I'm wondering, actually, there's one other thing we need to make a change in the, what? The destination is dim date. We do have to make one change in our view. Because
Oh,
we need select distinct. Otherwise, it's going to, you have too many of the days. So I'm going to alter that view. Oops. I included my select in the view.
So distinct,
I added distinct at the top
top of the-
in the select, right after the word select.
And then go down.
Yeah, now we might have to, I'm going to right click or double click on Metro Alt down here and I'm going to do refresh. I'll show you this again. I know I did that fast. So I did the connection manager. I double clicked it and then I did refresh. Because it may not take the changes unless you refresh the source.
that you have to do all, you don't have to do all of them.
No, that should be enough. I'm looking to see if there's anything that needs up. I think it's fine. That distinct is necessary though, otherwise the primary key will be repeating. But I'm not sure why I didn't think of that. Yeah. All right, let's see what it is. Column data. Yeah.
Which one are you referring to, the supplemental one?
Yeah, it's not that DW, but the.
Oh, I didn't know.
There to the select. Some nearby.
Well,
I already just sent it to you. I just, I'd send you the same thing.
Right after
they'll
this.
be able to view, okay? So I can, so what are we gonna do after this?
No.
No, that was good.
No, so
Yeah, you're
make
just.
sure you like a list of.
I think you get. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There.
I mean, I think we
Well, as a matter of fact, you have to do it fact.
I think we maybe, yeah,
No what?
because when you still have to read. Yes, yes.
Cool, which is good, that means I can like work on my other class. No,
Yeah, but then it takes like 3 days as we,
This one,
and
then
then
it-
6, so, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It looks like you
Yeah, well,
have to
the
do
first day and then the Monday, Tuesday. But he didn't give us 1 or 2 weeks for the.
You have to do the whole.
Then we need to do, I guess,
No,
you know, so.
So I don't think you ever created it.
But it's good though.
Yeah.
Because we had a video, so it's good, but still. Yeah.
There. Yeah,
Then just run this way.
Yeah, we had a video for like, I think for ITC, the 1, 2, 6, 7.
All right. So do you guys want me to post that too?
So now we have to do the fact table. but we
The
do-
fact table is going to be,
What are we doing now?
yeah, we're going to do it. And the fact table is a bit of a hairy one. Let's see.
Your razors.
It didn't work yet. So we might have to just do replicate this.
Something too much. Oh, doing exercise too much. Yesterday
You
we
went to
did
Zumba like more.
Zumba, and then she was like a great example. Like, oh, you want to jump?
It's interesting. It still doesn't kind of recognize that.
If we refresh it, so.
It might. It works.
Yeah.
There's a lot of error markers and messages in SQL Server that are garbage.
Mm.
Yes, it is annoying.
Yeah, still it's amazing.
It may be if we refreshed over here, it would figure it out over here. I don't know. I'm not sure if it matters. I'm going to create another view.
That's perfect form. Excuse me.
And I'm going to call this one VW fact table. And we're going to populate. And again, the reason I'm doing it here is that it generally is easier here than it is trying to assemble all this stuff in the SSIS, though it can be done. So if we look at the dimension table for facts, so we've got all of these foreign keys, and we've got writers, fair amount, and fair implementation date here. So we need to gather all this stuff. So I am going to, some of these things exist in the dim tables and some don't. And for the most part, if where the dim tables are populated, we want to pull the value from the dim table. And where they're not, we'll have to pull it from the Metro Alt table.
Okay.
So
We're
it,
gonna be pulling from
two different databases.
Mhm.
So
So first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has it on.
yeah, I'm going to select the fields and I've pre-aliased them. So I'm going to do employee key. I have DBSA bus key. DBSA bus route key. I suppose I should really, the DBSE is the data, the DIM bus schedule assignment. I'm going to do the DBO. Well, we actually should have the date. I don't know if I need to do that. I have a function pulling the date, and I could probably just get the date key. Testing this would be a difficult though that way. Should I do the function again?
We don't need to bring this visual assignment.
I'm going to do DB. So I don't, the date, I know why I did it this way. DBO, FX, date to int,
Isn't it video?
F dot, yes, FX underscore date to int. Because this time I don't want, this is the fact table, I don't want the unique value. I want all the values, right?
But isn't the function getting unique value?
But I don't want, no, it isn't unique. It's the fact that we did distinct in the view.
That's not some-
No. Well, I mean, in distinct, this will return, like if a date occurs 30 times, it'll return it 30 times. And that's actually what we want here. So it's DBSA business bus schedule assignment date. I hate that field.
I know, right? Just thinking
Sign. I really should have named it something else. As date key. Or we could do it as dim date key, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then I'm going to get writers. That one I can just get as is. I'm going to do something that will drive you. Remember the case that we did before?
oh, yes.
Because there's no attachment to, there's no link, no relational thing to that table. So I'm going to say when year DBSA bus schedule assignment date. Equal 2012. Then 240. Now this is actually a bad, you'd have to update this view every year. You know, so there is a problem with this, but it'll work for our purposes. And I'm actually going to do it as times writers. So I don't want just the fare. I want how much money they made each time. Okay, I'm just going to do a comma there. Actually, I don't need a comma. I just need to repeat this line a whole bunch of times. But so when it's 2013, it's 315. And when it is 2014, it is 325.
Change the year to 2013.
Thank you. And then 2014 is 325. And I did 2015, although I don't think there's any records in there for 2015. 350. And then what I do is end, and I alias it as fair. And is there anything I'm leaving out?
How does it know, I don't know, when you're at the end with time to writers, how does it know to pull the writers from 2012 and 13?
It's actually just going to, because there's in the bus schedule, there's the writers table. They're linked by the key of the day. I mean, of the shift in the day. So there's a link between them. So it should give it the relationally correct one. I think we also need, we don't need the count of the writer. That is what the writers is the count per shift thing. We were also going to take in the fields fair implementation date year. Actually, I don't see how to put that in there. I think we're going to ignore that. Okay, as fair from Metro Alt DW dot. And what we want is DBO dot employee, dim employee. That's E. Inner join Metro Alt DW dot DBO dim bus schedule, dim bus schedule assignment. Okay, on, and so that would be E dot employee key, dim employee key, equals, oh, I didn't alias this, DBSA equals DBSA dot employee key. This is why we needed the employee key in there. Does that make sense to you? So we can match these things?
Would we really have had to select it though?
Well, you need to, if you want to do any kind of analysis on what employee or anything.
But I mean, for the purpose of the internet.
Yes, well, there has to be some relation between the two. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just thought that sometimes you can join tables, without selecting.
You can't join them without an on statement.
No, I know the on-state, I meant the select up above, the fact that we're actually returning the employee key, that's not.
Oh, we could have brought it directly from DBSA. Yeah, we don't necessarily have to include the employee. I see what you mean. Because we're just doing the employee key. We actually don't have to do an employee. Because I don't think there's anything else from employee, is there? So we actually don't have to do that. Having done it, I'm going to let it stand, but we don't need to. Because employee key is already there. And it should already be populated. Right? Do you want to get rid of that one then?
So we're just talking about deleting employee key from the select statement?
No, just making it part of the DBSA.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't need it to link to the employee table. We do need some of the other interjoins. We got the bus schedule assignment. Yeah, but this one is not the dim one. This one is the one from Metro Alt. So DBSA. So I'm linking the DIM and the other one through the bus schedule assignment key. And then I'm going to link to writers. And the main reason I needed to do that link was to get to the writers, which is DIM. I guess we could put the date in there. Might do this. So interjoin writers or ridership on BSA dot bus schedule assignment key equals ridership or R dot bus schedule assignment key. And that's what relates the riders to the particular bus schedule. And in the bus schedule in the riders is, actually the riders doesn't have the fare amount, does it? What's in riders? Let's go back up. The trouble with this is we can't really test this. We can, so we got dim bus, so we need to go back up to Metro Alt. Tables, riders, ridership. Yeah, it doesn't have the date. Well, bus schedule assignment, no, it doesn't have the date for the other one. So I think, because that one isn't joined anywhere. We have in our DIM the date the fare was assigned. We could do that, I suppose, by doing something like this again, but I don't want to do that.
Because we did fare on the case statement.
Yeah. And we'd have to do another case statement. I'm going to see if this the view was successful. But doing a select from it, we'll just do an empty table.
Did you done it?
Yeah, I did. So if I do view fact table, it gives me the stuff, but it gives it empty because the other tables aren't populated yet. The DW tables aren't populated yet because we haven't run the other. So assuming this is correct, we can use it to populate the fact table.
We're not doing
No. I mean, if you wanted to do them, you'd have to do another case.
but it would be a case.
Yeah. All right. So I ran my view. If I did it right, it should populate the fact table. Fact tables are a pain to populate because you do have to pull data from both databases. And the way you bring in another database, again, is you do the name of the database that you're not in, dot the schema, which in this case is just DBO, and then dot in the name of the table. If it's on another server, you do server name dot database name, dot schema. So you can actually query another server, assuming you have permissions to do so. All right, let's go back. We're almost done here. Control flow. We want to add another data flow task. This will be to populate the fact table. All right, and I'll click the green arrow over here. So with luck, this should be really easy. We should be able to do OLEDB source. I'll just call it fact table source. Double click it. We want Metro Alt. We want our new view VW fact table. Look at the columns. So I just did VW Metro Alt, just Metro Alt, VW fact table. Then we do our destination, which will be a SQL Server destination. This one will be Metro Alt DW. The table will be fact bus schedule. Mappings we'll probably have to do. So employee key to dim employee key.
Is Metro Alt, right?
Yeah.
And then what table?
Well, the second table is Metro Alt DW.
VW fact table, right? VW underscore fact table is the table.
Did we not get some of the stuff that we need? But that should be in there. This one not. But we need the bus.
Schedule assignment key.
Right, and I think we can just add that.
From BSA.
Yeah, it could either be from BSA or DBSA because we populated it. Let's do DBSA dot bus schedule assignment key. So I'm just adding it to the query.
All right.
Oops. It's interesting. Mine broke because I have word wrap on. We have to alter our view.
Bus schedule assignment key, right?
Yes. And I'm going to bus schedule assignment key. We just need to add it to the select list. And I did it under DBSA. Having done this.
You probably have to refresh the.
Right. So what you want to do is down here where it says Metro Alt, do refresh.
You have to alter that table. Right?
You have to alter the table and run the thing again.
Okay. And then.
And then down here where it says Metro Alt,
Yes.
I double clicked that and I did refresh.
Okay.
Then I need to click on this, look at the columns, do OK. And then we can change our mappings.
Okay, that. Okay.
Can you show me what you changed in the mapping?
That should still be the
Okay.
But your bus schedule assignment key is to have.
Okay.
Now, there's an error here, which I remember. The fare is currency, so I think we actually have to break this. And we have to put in a data conversion thing.
No, you do that though.
So we want to go up, data conversion. I'm going to do the arrow into that. And the money type needs to be converted. So the fare, it says DT numeric. but we want it to be, yeah, which is CT, I think. DT, yeah, CY. Thank you. So I want to do OK. So I clicked on fair, and I want to change it to currency, which is DTCY.
So fact to table source connected data conversion.
What? Data conversion, yes.
Break this.
And then we want to come down here. And in the destination where we do the mappings, instead of having fair equals fair, we want the copy of fair to equal fair amount.
Why is that?
Because we changed the data type, and a copy of it has the changed data type.
Okay.
And there's one more thing to do after this.
Generally better practice to try not to do it.
I'm not sure if it matters. Sometimes, though, I find that there are problems in the data conversion. Yeah.
It says wrong.
The line.
So you
It
want to
said the column, it says this, the column copy of fair can't be inserted to conversion. In this one, yeah.
So there is. Okay. So now go into this. So how is it?
Okay.
What?
And then down below.
I know.
Actually, connect first.
Or a lot of people.
It's
300?
I accidentally pressed.
So well, let me make sure. You change your preference.
Okay.
Well, that's.
There's, they're only gonna be like.
Oh my god, even worse. The bookend will be then your own switch.
First I'll do copy.
Oh. Oh, nice.
Now, do the.
Are you going to cover no
Double click it, refresh.
Talk about the people, like you go to Target.
Do you hang out with other moms?
No,
And then do okay.
no.
Double
I
click
don't have
this.
time for that.
Do
Yeah, I
copy.
want to see what you're saying.
Okay, do okay.
Yeah, it doesn't finish the thing.
She has a friend that's her school, but
Map the key.
I mean, I feel bad about writing some people.
Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, like festival and selective, and it's like, do I really want to?
No, I hate that.
Yeah.
Oh. Tell me what to do.
Like you have to write whole like.
Yeah. The trouble with it is that the fair, the fair needs,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's only one copy of it. That's what the data
So she
conversion.
had her.
So
Well, you have to do it in the right
Running
order.
around.
Oh, nice.
It's like one of those big things.
So
It's
then
like
you break
McDonald's.
this.
Oh, yeah, did you look
Yeah.
at it?
It's at her
Oh,
school.
you should have booked it.
I know.
Yeah.
And then here,
Because
Well, then I would have to
I,
invite all the other kids.
yeah,
Because
that's,
they know.
and then
No.
from here.
And then you have to like.
because you, yeah, if you invite
She doesn't
her.
have like keep that.
Fair.
Oh, that's
She
it.
has cupcakes just for the kids. No.
Yeah, it's cost you like so much money.
That's the fair.
No, but it's cost so much money.
Yeah,
Because
the other
it's like
thing
seriously
is-
$1,000 for some of these, right?
I
No,
know.
because
She
usually
just got pizza and cupcakes.
no. If you normally do it for get
yeah.
the place and
Key.
if it's a house, you get the rules or you.
Was it
DW?
DW?
Yes.
Why would you do all of that? That's just like training
Thank
your
you.
kids to be rural for the rest of
Yeah.
their lives.
It's just like a, otherwise.
Like birthday
you
party?
be-
And then,
Yeah, no, you.
Work in
get-
the fields.
I know, I like that.
and then this bus key.
Yeah, totally.
You know, my favorite part of
And
my
then-
birthdays as a child is that I would get like 5 different kids.
When they're,
Because it was
because
just,
the currency
copy.
was just more
everyone would just bake
when it was
cake.
passed.
So like my
Currency
grandmother
and,
baked cake, my
underlying
grandpa
table.
baked mom baked cake, like,
So do we get alerted?
Yeah,
My
yeah.
baked cake, like the neighbor baked cake.
So
Because like
do the map.
everyone's got like a great grandmother or grandma, the mom like the whole, and then like if it's family with like 2 sisters that married or like Typically, if it's leads, they move away for whatever, so, you know. But in our neighborhood, like, there's a lot of,
You want me to
there
send it
was
to
a lot
you?
of, no, families that stayed in their properties.
Back table?
Family properties, so they keep. And, so you would have like, you know, one person's house here and one person's house here.
Okay, here we go.
And they would both make it.
And make sure you press create.
Almost half is gone. Every day he eats.
Well, that's better than.
I mean, yeah, but if you have a cake, it's gone. Really, like if you can have like a share, and you say no, every day, every night, it's like that's like a try.
You know,
And you did a mistake for the big one, that's like two.
that's not
Every
true.
morning or night.
It's definitely not
Give
missing.
the evidence.
It's
It's a
definitely not
huge
missing.
spoon of like a Nutella with milk. It's just so
It
bizarre.
tastes great with coffee, what can I say?
You know.
So
That
you
is now
have a different
kind
data
of-
type underneath for some reason.
Like-
All right, so there's one last thing to do,
And you love it.
which is to re-hook in the, my brain is about gone, is to re-hook in the,
Yeah.
the constraints. So what we want now is a SQL Server task. Execute SQL Server task.
For our constraints.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to add back constraints. And here's what I suggest you do for this. So we open this. We want our connection to be DW. The SQL statement, I am going to go to the blog. So that's not the blog, but here's the blog. If you have it, we have all these add constraints, right? This is in the blog under the script, data warehouse script.
Okay.
So we have all these alter table, add constraint, PK, all of that down to the bottom.
What's the first one? Alter table, dim employee?
Yeah, the very first, I mean, just from all of the alter tables.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Copy, paste. So, you know, alter table, dim employee, dim bus, dim route, dim bus schedule, dim date, fact schedule. Then it adds all the primary keys and all the foreign keys back in.
And then bypass false.
Yeah, if you want to check it, you can do bypass false, parse query. So again, in the blog, it's the second one down for currency. There was the full text catalog down below that is this, and they go down to where it starts to alter tables and copy all the rest to the end of that blog entry. Just copy all of that and paste it into here.
So that one is like Metro.
What?
Metro.
Metro Alt DW.
And then you do click. DW and press a query, right?
Yes.
Yes, so you can change this to false and you can parse the query just to be sure that it's the copied it correctly.
Okay.
I'm going to do okay.
Oh, do I do false for the bypass?
If you want to check it, if you want to parse
Yeah,
it.
if you want to check.
I put the cursor, I selected the very first one here. I'm going to try to run it.
Okay. So now, oh, do
And I am going to really hope.
I have faith that it's gonna work.
So, what? Oh, you just start?
Yeah, I clicked on drop constraints.
Okay. And then start. Oh. The last one didn't work. Oh, gee, mine is not good. So first one drove this one. This one I'm missing for like input lines. So what is missing?
Nothing.
I wonder
Put in the-
why.
that's the
Yeah.
other-
All right, so let's see what that error is.
So that's fine. Wait, what's this? Double click that.
All right, so there's a foreign key problem.
You said this is
Yeah.
no.
Hit okay. Oh, refresh this.
I had a problem in employee.
You know what? I think the problem is that we copied it from employee. We probably should have copied it from VSA employee.
You had the same.
Yeah.
Well, no, mine stopped on the third.
Well, let me look. I'm gonna real quickly just get Notepad and paste the error message into it. And format word wrap. Okay.
Because I
The wrong one.
Oh.
So it failed with dim bus schedule assignment, dim bus schedule assignment key. Let's look at our populate. So it's so what I did, now that I closed it, there's under execution, there are errors. And then what I did is I right-clicked and copied message text and pasted it into Notepad.
No, is anyone have a problem running in a second?
We may have to add, yeah,
Because now mine's saying it failed at the very beginning, like fact bus schedule is not constrained.
so I am thinking that the problem is with Metro, with the fact table thing. We have got the bus route key, bus schedule assignment. That should be all right, the DBSA bus schedule assignment key. Why is that failing? It's happy with the employee key, the bus route key, bus schedule assignment key. I'm going to try changing this to just BSA instead of dim BSA. It's in the query where we add the bus schedule assignment key.
Yes. Wait, it's a, which one? Bus schedule assignment key?
Yeah,
So did
in
you-
the select list. I don't know that this will do anything. Sorry. Couple of things. It might almost be easier to redo the database, but
Can we just add the constraints?
we can add the constraints. So some of the constraints are probably there.
So, we'll let you know.
it'll give an error. So that one's there. That one's there. That one's there.
Oh, what are you adding?
What are you adding?
Oh,
Those are not the constraints.
those are the fields. Sorry. I have to do the original. Let me get the whole.
It's adding all of them.
So I'm going to, what we just did, all these add constraints, I'm going to copy these into the Management Studio. And then it executes all of them? No.
Well,
Oh, but I mean Metro Alt. I need to be Metro Alt DW. What? Did I miss? Just
Schedule timer.
did all the others get added? Yeah.
did we refresh
Yeah, you might want to refresh.
the DW or regular?
The DW. I'm just looking to see if these are in there. It'll error on all of them if
Please show
they're there.
us how to do it again, because I changed things around to BSA and stuff.
Right. Well, that's a different. So
All right.
this is just because it won't run if the if these aren't in there. I just wasn't sure because it failed on the last one because I copied wrong.
Mine went out.
So I think they're
That
all.
one reflected a different error.
This one did?
The second to last one was not that kind of error. It's a dozen conflict.
With the foreign key, right? Why would that, did we do something wrong there? Why would that give up? Okay. It had data in it that conflicted with the key. So
I think my error was the same with yours, because mine cracked out only the third one, and you got almost the end.
I got all the way to the end.
Yes, I did.
So I changed, now we may take a lunch and do this tomorrow if this doesn't work, because we're already past time and we'll start late.
What did you end up changing?
I changed a little bit in the, mine failed on adding back the constraints, and in the past when that happened, it was always something I did in my view for the fact table.
All right.
So I made a slight change there. I'm just going to see what happens now. If it works, well, it works up to the end, but does it work at the end?
Mine is there's an error. The K green employees.
See, it still fails
No.
there.
Mine's kind of
Mine failed at populating the employee, that's right.
So I'm not, it's too late to, we can, let's wait till next time to,
Yeah, okay.
debug these because it could take us through the afternoon and I don't want to do that. I want to give you some time for lunch. It's the same error, right? Bus schedule assignment key. I fixed this at home. I had this error and I fixed it. What did I do? And why did I recreate the error here?
It keeps doing the same thing over and over. It says dim bus key is not a constraint, and yet oh.
So we'll fix this next time. I expect there'll be a lot of troubleshooting for everybody.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
It's saying error PK dim bus key is not a constraint, so where is it?
Oh, it's when you're dropping it.
Okay, so I didn't call it wrong. Well, that's weird because when I looked at it, that's what it said. It's PK dim bus key.
That's the key, but the. Oh, yeah, the constraint is the key.
So why is it?
Did you recreate it? Key. What about when you do your alter statements at the end of the added that one? Because what happened?
Here.
Hey man, if you want to dance this guy?
That's the FK. But I'm thinking that what you did, of course, you never got to the add back in.
No, it dies on drop.
So what I'm thinking though is, well, that's strange. That would die in the drop if that's the name of it. So let's, as I said, let's troubleshoot these next time, because otherwise we're going to be going until.
When I dropped the constraints,
Yeah.
the codes that I added there.
Just stop sorting over nowhere.
Okay. And then.
So, this one. Yeah, 1.6.
Yeah, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
I will look at it. We'll see what. It's probably something simple, but it's probably not simple to fix right now.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that the problem is in the view fact table. And yours, I don't know. We'll have to look and see what the name means. Somewhere there's a conflict in the name.
So what time should we do that?
So
Let's give it a half hour. I might come back sooner to let people know that there's like 2 people that are in that class.
What?
It doesn't change one.
So when you hit start, and then you go progress. Now drop constraint is going to fail every single time because you already ran it once, so now there's no more constraints to drop.
Oh,
But anyways, here you can see where the failures are.
right,
But right now it's like,
okay.
We will, as I said, Thursday, we will fix this and then go on to the next part.
Okay.
So yours worked exactly like mine. It failed on the last thing.
Yes.
So you're fine.
Failed at the beginning.
So usually what that means is something is named. Now, make sure that what's in your database is named the same as this.
see, mine failed at dim employee.
Yeah, me
no,
too.
it
If you give me-
I don't think it did. I think it says that it failed there.
But it wouldn't go
Execute
past.
as-
Yeah.
So I shut everything down, but
Well,
Saying
we
it's
can
like
look later.
Yeah.
Feeding the employee, not the,
Oh, it's a
constraint.
So did you do maybe it's employee key?
There's no No use of putting in anything else because.
Whatever you named your constraint, it has to
Don't worry
match.
about
Okay.
this. The connection,
Well, no, but
because-
you, okay, so.
Well, connection, you could do
You
that.
ran it once.
Metro
You removed all the
Yeah,
constraints.
that's the thing, don't worry about it, because.
Right, because now there's no constraints to.
Now it'll fail at the first one.
Oh.
So
So what
next
should
time
I
to
do?
run it, you just have to disconnect that first line.
Oh, this one.
No, don't delete it, just delete the green
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when you run it so that it doesn't
Oh,
affect.
give it a half hour.
Well, you're still
Okay.
running, so you have to close it.
Oh,
But
yeah, yeah,
let's
yeah,
go
yeah.
eat
Go
food.
eat. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, basically save everything.
yeah.
Oh,
I hope nobody touches this though. Seriously.
Save everything and we will fix it next time.
yeah, you do.
What are we doing in,
So I was gonna do a
presentation?
presentation and maybe Jill, if she shows, will do a presentation. I was gonna do it on the certification.